Fifth grade, Chapter 3, Lesson 1, Thousandths. Thousandths are smaller parts than hundredths. If 1/100th is divided into 10 equal parts, each part is called 1,000. Use the model at the right to show tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. So divide the largest square into 10 equal columns or rectangles. Shade one rectangle. What part of the whole is the shaded rectangle? Write the part as a decimal and as a fraction. So we drew our 10 columns, and then that gives us how much of that flat? How many pieces do we have? 10, and we colored in 1, so it would be 1/10, and then what's the decimal form of that? We don't have a whole, right? So we put 0 point, what? 1, right? Because we're in the 10th position. Divide each rectangle into 10 equal squares. Okay? Use a second color to shade in one of the squares. What part of the whole is shaded, right? What part is it as a decimal and as a fraction? So we're going to draw 10 lines this way, correct? Okay, and then it says to shade only one of those little pieces in. So if we shaded in one of those little pieces, how many total pieces do we have now?
11. No, 100.
We have 100 total pieces, right? And we shaded in how many? 1. So to write that as a decimal, do we have a whole? No. So we put 0 point. Do I have any thing to put into my 10th spot? So no, so I put 0, and then I put a 1. So I have 100. Then it says divide this large 100 square into 10 columns. So they gave us those. So they broke all those little squares into 10 more little pieces, and we colored in one of those little pieces. We would have one what? 1,000. Because we multiplied by 10 again, right? So 100 times 10 gets us 1,000. Oh, and I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here because we just made it into how many parts? 1,000 parts. Right, we did make it into 10 parts, but they're saying if you did that to every little box there, then you would have what? 1,000 parts, okay? And then they want to know, like we said, if we shaded that in, we said we would have 1/1000th as a fraction. And as a decimal, do I have any holes? No. So I put 0 decimal. Do I have anything for the 10th spot?
No.
Nope. Hundredths? Nope. And then 1 in the thousandths. Draw conclusions. Explain what each shaded part of your model in the investigate section shows. What fraction can you write that relates each shaded part to the next greater shaded part? We went from 1/10, 100 to 1,000. Each shaded part was 1/10 of the larger part. Number 2, identify and describe a part of your model that shows 1,000. Explain how you know. We took the 100th piece and broke it into 10 more pieces, making 1,000 pieces. Make connections. The relationship of a digit in different place value positions is the same with decimals as it is with whole numbers. You can use your understanding of place value patterns in a place value chart to write decisions that are 10 times as much as 1/10 of any given decimal. So basically, they had 400ths as a decimal, and then they wanted to know what 1/10 of 400ths was, or 10 times as much. So, blank is 10 times as much as 400ths. So 10 times as much. Are you moving the decimal to the left or to the right? To the right. See how this curves to the right? So it would be 0.4. 4. 1/10 of it, you're moving the decimal to the left, and it would be 0.004 to get you 4 thousandths. So write the given decimal in the place value chart. Use the place value chart to write a decimal that is 10 times as much as the given decimal, and then we're going to do one that is 1/10 of it. So we said 10 times as much. Are we going to the right or the left?
Right.
Right. And 1/10, we're going to the left. Okay. So 300ths, we're going to make it 3/10, and then 300ths, 1/10 of it would be 3 thousandths, right? Okay. 1/10, we need to move the place value to the right once. So what would we have?
0.0.
Okay, guys. So if I take this and I have 0.1 and I need to move it 1 to the right, we said, what's my answer?
0.0.
Right? Then if I have 0.1 and I need to move it 1 to the left, so now my decimal is going to go here, what do I have? 0.01. Okay, now, so I want you to write this over here to the side or down below. So if I had 0.07 and we want 10 times as much, I'm going to move it once to the
Left.
right. And so I'm going to have what for my answer? 0.7. Then, if I want 1/10 of 700ths, I'm going to move it once to the left. So now my new decimal's there. So new decimal goes right here now. So now my answer will be 0.007. So now I have 7 thousandths. Alright, it says write the decimal shown by the shaded parts of each model. So, on any of these, well, yeah, on any of these, do we have a whole number? Do we have a whole one of those shaded in? No. So you're always going to have 0 decimal because you don't have a whole thing shaded in. Now, how many columns do we have shaded in? Fully shaded columns. How many do we have? 6. How many of the next column do we have shaded in? 6. And then how many little columns in the little box do we have shaded in?
6.
5. Okay. So we had 6 full columns shaded in. That was our first 6, right? Then we had 6 of the next column that were partially shaded in, right? And then we had 5 of the little box shaded in, right? Okay. So on the next one, do we have a full one shaded in? No, so I'm going to put 0 decimal. Then how many full columns do I have shaded in?
3.
So 1, 2, 3. How many partial of the next column do I have shaded in? 9. And then how many columns over here do I have shaded in? 8. Okay. Number 3. Do I have any whole boxes shaded in? No. So I put 0 decimal. How many full columns do I have shaded in? 1. How many of the next partial do I have? 8. And then how many in the little bitty box do I have shaded in? 1. So I had 1 full 10th, I had 8 of the next box, and then I had 1 of the thousandths box, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, do I have any full pieces shaded in?
No.
So I put 0 decimal. How many full columns do I have shaded in?
9.
9. Then how many of the next partial? 9. And then how many of the thousandths?
0.
0. So I can either put a 0 there, or I don't have to put a 0 there. Because if it's at the end, it's just holding a spot. Okay? So you technically can have it, or you don't have to have it. Okay? All right, number 5. So 0.6 is 10 times as much as, so I would put 0.6 and then 10 times as much as. So in this case, do I want a larger or a smaller number?
Smaller.
Smaller, because they're saying this number is 10 times as much as something else. So you want smaller. So in this case, am I going to the left or to the right?
Right.
If you want to go smaller, you go to the
Right.
left. If you want to go larger, you go to the right.
Wait, that makes no
Okay.
sense.
So how many places am I going to go? These mean opposite of what it looks like. When you first look at it, you think you want to go bigger, right? But if you really read it, this number right here needs to be smaller than our original number. So, what we said, we need to go to the left one. So, my answer is 0.06. Now, they're saying 7 thousandths is 1/10 of something. So, this one I want to go higher or lower?
No. Higher.
This one? So, this one was lower. This one's going to be higher. Okay? So since I want to go higher, am I going to go to the left or to the right?
Right.
To the right. So I'm going to move my decimal over how many places? Once to the right. And my new number is 0.07. Okay? Now I have 8 thousandths is 1/10 of something. So do we need a bigger number or a smaller number?
Bigger number.
A bigger number, because it's opposite of what we see, right? Of what we think. So, since I need to go higher, I need to go to the
Right.
right. So I'm going to go to the right once, and my new answer is 0.08. Okay? 5/10 is 10 times as much as something. So this number is 10 times as much as this number. So do I need to go higher or lower?
Lower.
Lower. So I need to go lower. So am I going to go to the left or to the right?
Right.
The left, because I need to go lower. So I need to go to the left. So my answer is 0.05. Because is 5/100 less than 5/10? Yes. Okay, so basically, 5/10 is 10 times as much as 5/100. Okay, you really have to be careful with how you read those. Okay, basically, when you look at it, you think you need to go higher, right? But on number 5, you think you need to go higher, but you don't because of how the wording is. Okay, we did that kind of like with those other ones, remember? And you just need to kind of remember it's the opposite of what you automatically look at it. Right? Okay, use place value patterns to complete the table. So now this time, we can actually say you're going right or left, right? So if you want 10 times as much, you're going to go to the, okay, so we talked about how if we want 10 times as much, we want a bigger number, so we're going to the right. If we want 1/10 of a number, we're going to the left, because you're only getting a little part of that number, right? Okay, so for 0.2, we would need to move, if we went 10 times as much as 2/10, we would move the decimal to the right 1 spot. So what would we have? 2. Okay, then I can erase that, and then I want 1/10 of it, so I need to go to the left 1 spot. So now my new answer is
0.02.